Hello, welcome. It is me, Danyell Carmelita, your favorite tarot reader and astrologer. Welcome if you are new. Welcome back if you are not new. Okay, the Sagittarius full moon is bursting with bold truths and soul level shifts. It's not just another full moon. Okay, they're all different. They're all spicy. They're all okay. Well, this one could be spicy. It's a fire sign. It's a chance to release what you're holding back and expand, because Sagittarius represents expansion into a next chapter. So we're going to unpack the energy. I want you to join me while I do this. We're going to talk about the aspects. I got some tarot cards here. We got some horoscopes, because there is so much magic in the air, so much fire, so much passion involving this. And I'm excited that you guys are here. So if you're here for the Sagittarius full moon, then let's get started.
3, 2, 1.
I love you.
Okay, so let's talk about full moons anyway, okay? As a whole, a full moon is when the sun is sitting at the opposite position of the moon in the chart, in the sky, okay? So they're opposing each other. The sun represents your father, represents masculine energy. The moon represents your introverted self, your emotions, the feminine energy. It is also internal, and yeah, the mom, okay? The father versus the mom. Every month, the moon takes one day off, and there's a timeout between the waxing, the growth cycle, and the waning, the declining cycle. And now this is called the full moon. The alignment illuminates what's been growing since the new moon. So we had a new moon. This is what's been growing. And now we're at a climax. We're at a zenith. Okay. It is a time for culmination. It is a time for clarity. It is a time for releasing and forgiving, a cosmic spotlight on intentions, goals, and emotional patterns. Now, this is a fire sign full moon. Fire is giving more passion and desire and that motivation and a little conflicts. Okay. Now you are talking about the moon, and when you have a full moon, first of all, the moon alone is very emotional. And when you have a full moon, it could be even more emotional, because your ego is not getting along with your emotions. Okay. So full moons bring heightened intuition and emotions, a sense of completion or climax. Opportunities to release what no longer serves you. It is a time for forgiveness, okay? Clarity about what you're ready to let go and fully embrace. A lot of rituals happen during full moons and any type of moon cycle, okay? So when you are, if you don't want to use the word ritual, it could be a routine, okay? Because it doesn't have to be magic. It can actually be things that are aligned with what God is putting out in the universe, because God did create the cycles of the moon, and the cycle of the moon affects who we are, because everything that God's created, it affects all of us, okay? So with that said, you can physically just clean your home, okay? Before the full moon, the day before, the time before your full moon, clean your room. Some people like to clean their space when it comes to more of a spiritual aspect. So they like to use the sage, they used to like to use the Palo Santo. You can just physically clean your room with some Windex. I don't believe in Windex, I believe in vinegar and natural cleaning, but whatever is your ritual, whatever is your routine, okay? You can smudge or physically clean or do both, okay? Also, you can take a bath. Anytime you're dealing with the moon, you're dealing with water energy, and you can take a bath and you can physically clean or take a shower, okay? And it rinses away all that old energy. If you are in a place of working on forgiveness, then I would definitely clean and clear out and do a cleansing of the physical body. Also, you can journal. Journal is great. It really works great whenever there's an air moon. Taking a shower and cleansing really works great whenever there's a water moon. And but writing, journaling, reflecting, you could just, this is how you are. This is where you are in your place in your life. So writing what you learned, writing what you need to let go, writing what you need to release, writing your insights, your fears, your gratitude, all that could be happening. Any type of releasing of anything, write it down or surrender. Also too, because we are dealing with a fire sign moon, full moon, burning fire works really great, okay? So if you want to be aligned with the elements of the sky, then you could write something on a piece of paper that you want to release and let go and burn it, but make sure you are safe when doing it. Also too, you can light a candle with setting some intention, setting what you want to release, because you are talking about fire. Turn on a fireplace. Sit in front of the fireplace and contemplate and think, if you want to do that as well. You can have something warm, liquidy, something that brings heat, okay? Sometimes the time of the full moon could be happening while the sun is out. So that could be happening. You could also practice gratitude. You be connecting to the moonlight, sit out with the moon, okay? So you can do that. Tonight, I honor what comes full circle. I release old fears and limitations. I trust the wisdom of this moment and open my heart to new growth. So it is, okay? Now, I do want you to understand, anytime you do any type of new moon ritual or magic or routine, sometimes you don't even know that there is a full moon. Sometimes your God is just leading you to do this naturally, because if we are truly aligned, then we are truly aligned, okay? Now, if you love this, if you're like, oh my gosh, I love this, Danyell, I'm really connecting to you because I am Danyell Carmelita, if you didn't know, then please don't forget to give me my due diligence and do your due diligence and give me my flowers. I'm feeling to be pulled to these cosmic ties. Maybe you want to book a session. I do have some readings available. That is down the link down below. I think it's like $39. It's affordable. In my eyes, it's affordable because I'm good at what I do, okay? Also, too, if you want to dive more into your chart, I do chart readings so you can get your chart reading. I find that so important because it really teaches you about yourself, and then that teaches you how to be better with others and better for yourself, just loving yourself also too, okay? Also, if you're like, I don't want to pay for anything, free stuff, subscribe. You get me weekly. You get all my alerts. You get to know, you get to stay in tune with the vibe in the sky. Also, I have a free newsletter. I put the weekly transits on the newsletter. I break that down. Also, too, I give you some free tips that helps you with the guides with the current big energy in the sky, okay? Because you're not meant to walk the cosmic journey alone. A personal reading, a personal joining my group, my newsletter, can reveal exactly where this full moon energy is unlocking in your chart and your unique cosmic map for healing, releasing, and where you are currently. Sometimes I even do horoscopes in my newsletters too, but I always do them in the videos, okay? So think of this as your soul's toolkit, okay? And you want to honor it by subscribing, by thumbs upping this video, and even commenting. You can just throw an emoji down there or just say thank you, okay? It helps me feel supported. It helps me understand that I am good at what I do. It also, who doesn't like to be feeling validated, okay? So do all that, but I have some free stuff. Of course, I have some stuff that costs. They're all really great, my opinion, and I should even do some testimonies out there. But now let's get into what this who's gonna be feeling this Sagittarius full moon the most. Okay, all my fire signs, the full moon, Sagittarius, Aries, Leo, especially Sagittarius. If you have any type of planet around 20 degrees, because this is happening at 20 degrees, there is going to be something personal for you happening. Okay, there is going to be something honest. There's going to be something dealing with freedom, and it's going to be strong for you. Aries and Leos, you guys are going to thrive off of this full moon. There's a trine. It's going to spark some passion, maybe some boldness, some creativity, something spiritual, even maybe an adventure for you. Okay. Even dealing with higher learning, it's going to work great for you. Now, if you have any placements that are in our mutable signs, our Geminis, our Virgos, our Pisces, this full moon is going to cause a little tension for you. Okay. There's going to be some movement to change. And it, again, anywhere at 20 degrees. So Gemini is going to be opposing you. So it's going to be opposing your placement. Your placement. So you're going to have some conflict here emotionally. Far as my Virgos and Pisces is going to cause a T-square, a square of some sorts. Again, that is tension, struggling to balance between the practical dreams or your big dreams. Okay, so you'll be having those issues. Now, as far as my Cancers and Capricorns, Cancer, you're talking about that's where Jupiter is in the sign. Mercury is currently in the sign Cancer, and they are being ruled by the moon. You are ruled by the moon. So anytime there's a full moon, it's going to affect you. Capricorn, you're the opposite side of the Cancer. So you're opposing this Jupiter, you're opposing this Mercury, you're opposing the moon's ruler, Cancer's ruler. So you could be having some emotional home base energy, having some problems there too. Okay. Those are the signs who are really going to be affected. Now, far as in the placements, far as anything else, when we have the Sagittarius full moon themes overall, the vibes, what is it for the collective? Okay. Now, I do want you to know that this is a pink moon. Anytime there is a full moon in Sagittarius, it is a pink moon. It is a moon of the sun. It is called a strawberry moon. If you saw the thumbnail, it was pink strawberry moon. It's also about expansion. It's the energy of that is dealing with the middle of the summer, well, midsummer, starting of the summer. It hasn't even started, starting of the summer. Full moon in June, you find your connection with the fire. The message of this moon is a life and presence, like a fire that burns, healing and transformation matter into energy. It is about what are our passions. It is a very masculine energy. It's very extroverted. It's very out there. It's not this internal energy, and it's in a very emotional sign, right? This is also a philosophical sign. So there's a lot of honesty, candor, knowledge, higher learning. You're getting things off your chest emotionally. It's dealing with higher learning, publishing, and the law. Is very adventurous, Sagittarius. Now, Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius. So when we look at Sagittarius, oh, wait, I don't have my chart. Let me pull my chart up here and share the screen so you guys can see what we have here. Now, was doing the inauguration. I just did in my private community surveillance, Pluto in Aquarius for surveillance. We looked at a few charts far as like the company and the presidency. But here we are. We are now talking about the full moon. Actually, let me pull up the full moon. Here, is this it? Yeah, this is it. Okay, so we have the full moon here, and what we have is Jupiter is the ruler of the full moon, and Jupiter again is in the sign. Where's Jupiter? Is in the sign Cancer at 0 degrees, very strong, and Mercury is in the sign Cancer, but Jupiter is the ruler of this full moon. Jupiter is it sets the tone for the full moon, and it's currently in Cancer at 0 degrees, so it's a critical, fresh start degree. It's very powerful when it comes to emotional growth and expansion. Jupiter is an exaltation in Cancer. It likes being there. So it makes our influence a little bit stronger when we are being supportive, when we're getting positive things happening here. But it is a very emotional energy, and this is in charge of this. So even though Sagittarius is not as emotional, even though there is emotions involved, it might be more emotional than ever because Jupiter is in a sign Cancer. Okay, so this placement encourages some emotional renewal, some family healing, some deeper self-truth. What do you need to feel safe enough to grow? Because it's at 0 degrees, you're talking about a raw, potent energy, and it is like it's giving birth to a new emotional cycle, or it's carrying us to this new phase of life. Okay, now Mercury is sitting close to Jupiter, so this full moon is going to add a huge aspect of communication, conversation, a lot of amplifying of speaking and sharing and knowledge and intelligence and details, sharing your feelings or connecting on a deep level. A lot of heartfelt conversations, or conversations with your mom, or conversations with your family, or conversations in your home, or a lot of mental health energy too, because this does represent mental health as well. Very social aspect, even maybe even on social media. Okay, it does represent that. So how does this shape this full moon in energy? While Sagittarius energy wants to break free, it wants its freedom. Okay, so this could be an emotional break free energy. Okay, it wants to expand outward. Jupiter in Cancer causes us to expand inward. Okay, and not just like external, because Sagittarius is a very masculine energy, but Jupiter is in a sign. It is the ruler of Sagittarius, and it's in a sign Cancer, and it wants to be more healing, more introverted through emotional growth and self-compassion. There's a balance here of adventure and exploring versus emotional insecurity. Conversations during this full moon have the power to transform, the power to heal, the power to understand what happened in the past needs to be released, and there's some positivity in looking into the past. Sometimes, we're stuck in the past, but this past may be a part of what we have going to move forward to get into this journey. Okay, now Sagittarius, because we're talking about Sagittarius full moon, we're talking about the truth, we're talking about exploring, we're talking about big questions, big answers, big dreams, stepping out of our comfort zone, a lot of adventure, a lot of higher wisdom, a lot of optimism, a lot of growth, again, freedom, restless, expanding your mind, expanding your horizons, big philosophies, also your belief system and religion that could be involved with this full moon. Okay, it illuminates anything that's pretty outdated or limiting belief. It is a fire sign. Okay, fire is, how fire spreads really fast. Well, that's what this energy wants to do. It wants to spread really fast. Okay, it's very bold, lively, full of momentum. It could be a big announcement for you in a full moon. It could be about travel plans, because it is about going outside in the world. Also personal growth, letting go any type of limits, because it can't not be limited. You know what I told you about that fire? It wants to expand, it wants to grow. So also dogma, or rigid thinking, or a lot of religious aspects also deals with a Sagittarius full moon. Also, it could be restless. You could be very impulsive. You could be making some rash decisions. You could be overcommitted when it comes to your emotions. You could be overconfident, over arrogant. You could be thinking about the big picture, not looking at the small picture. Okay. You could be talking over people. You could be using escapism or avoidance or traveling to avoid your true emotions with this full moon. Okay. It's very blunt communication. Sometimes the blunt is harsh, but you think that you're helping people and you are brutally honest, is what I really was thinking. Okay. And you're cutting too deep. That could be happening. Exaggeration. Sagittarius is doing too much, team too much. Okay. And so you could be over promising, over exaggerating, making your expectations too big. You're biting off too much you can chew. Okay. But with this full moon, regardless, we'll get into the placements, we'll get into the aspects. You want to have emotional honesty. You want to have purpose when you're exploring, when you're being bold, when you're being courageous. You want to use practical steps. You want to be have an adventurous spirit. However, you want to not overcommit. Okay. With the truth bombs. Okay. Let's use some discernment. You could be honesty. You could be honest, but not too blunt. Okay. So let's do some discernment. Now, also too, you're talking about global, you're talking about cultural, you're talking about philosophical conversations, and those conversations definitely could be had. And I do know there's this full moon is going to be heavy in the conversations because Jupiter is a ruler and it's sitting next to Mercury. So there's going to be something dealing with communication or social media for sure. And there's something that's going to be dealing with traveling, whether you're traveling within your home or traveling on a bigger global scale. Okay. So you do have that. It's a great time for journaling, especially with that Mercury in the sign Cancer. Also speaking your truth, expanding your mind, connecting with nature. Sagittarius loves to be outdoors. Oh my gosh. So if you have this full moon, go ahead and you love the outdoors, go outside and be out there in red doors. Okay, red doors. Be outside with outdoors. Also, too, I was talking about any type of rituals. If you want to do a candle magic for this full moon, to go ahead, light a red candle. Red represents courage. Red represents vitality and personal power. You don't have to believe in the voodoo of everything, okay? This could just be symbolic that you are saying, I'm lighting this red candle for fire and desire and passion and courage and strength, okay? And speaking my truth. Orange, the color orange represents creativity, joy. When you see the color orange, it makes you happy. So you can also light that candle and say this represents joy and happiness as well, okay? Also, fire element goes with this fire moon. So a lot of passion, a lot of creativity, a lot of boldness and optimism, okay, goes with this full moon. Okay, let me see what else. I talked about all the rituals and releasing and candle magic and gratitude. Let's talk about the degree of this full moon. Okay, so this full moon is at 20 degrees. Ignore this. Okay. Okay, ignore this. What else do I have? I have so many things here. Whatever. Okay, just ignore all this stuff. Just look at the full moon. I can't help myself. Okay, I can't help myself. We're gonna, I think, no, that doesn't have, no. Okay, we'll take all these things out. Okay, I think those other things are involved there. Okay. So what I want to say is that the full moon is at 20 degrees. 20 degrees is a Scorpio degree. So there could be something that's dealing with death, something that's dealing with finances and wealth and taxes that you own or an inheritance, or you taking from others, or things that are very taboo, or things that are very mysterious, secrets, insurance. This is intimacy, okay? Jealousy, also rebirth and pregnancy. That could be involved, especially if you are the signs that I mentioned earlier in this video, and this video will be saved. So that could be really affecting you. Also, if this full moon is in your 8th house, so if it's in your 8th house, then you are let me tell you right now, I actually have, for some reason, my brain is not telling me. Let me see who is in the 8th house. Actually, I have it down here. Hold on. Why is my thing not moving? Oh, come on. When I want it to move, my notes. Maybe because that's highlighted. Okay. My notes don't want to work for me. Okay, let me see. If you have 8th house, what rising is 8th house? Taurus rising. If you are Taurus rising, this full moon is happening in your 8th house. So there could be some type of rebirth, some type of transformation. Something could be dying to start over. Okay. I did all that just to say that. Okay. Now let me go into what we have for the Sabian symbol. of this full moon. The Sabian symbol that we're going to look at is 21 degrees in Sagittarius. You round up, okay? And that represents a child and a dog with borrowed eyeglasses, okay? This is about changing the perspective, okay, of what you are seeing. So it's also disguise, ambition, role play, seeing things through the eyes of another, perspective, vision, scrutiny, examination. This symbol evokes the imagination of a child and a dog wearing borrowed eyeglasses, an invitation to adopt a borrowed perspective in order to see things more clearly. Change your perspective when it comes to this full moon. It speaks to the absence of strict divisions between lower and higher life forms of levels of being competent and the opportunities to have fluidity. Okay, not sexuality fluidity, but fluidity. This is the energy of being adaptable. This is the energy of being curious. This is the energy of your perception versus reality, having potential for a positive energy. Now, you want to stay cautious of being in illusion. That's what this is saying, okay? Because you could be seeing things through a rose-colored lens. It's more of a fantasy. It's more of a facade. It's fake. Okay. Also, if that's not the case, maybe you need to change the perspective. It's up to you and your discernment. Okay. Maybe this is going to be communicated because this full moon has a strong aspect of communication. Now, if you look at this full moon, there is a wide trine. I took it off. Okay. No, there is a wine trine with this Mars in Leo. This is positive. Okay. Things that we're trying to achieve emotionally is going to really work really well. There's a harmonious flow, and there's passion and energy, and there's courage, and there's action, and there's confidence. This is the energy of there is support out there when it comes to you asserting yourself and taking bold risk and going after what you want. Emotionally, all that's going to work, or with your home life, or with your mom, or what you deem safe. Also, too, there's a wide trine with Chiron. Chiron is the planet of healing, okay? And healing is Chiron is like, who doesn't want to heal? I just think that's very positive. But the wide trine is also having some emotional wounds being healed, related to independence, related to self-expression, related to personal courage. If we're talking about collective versus like the self, you're talking about healing in a very bold way, or having some courage when it comes to your face, your head, the truths that set you free, healing by reclaiming your voice and your personal power, letting go of the old stories. That's old. Now it's time to embrace the new, because Aries represents new. Okay. Now, also to this Sagittarius, which is something that I took off. But this Sagittarius full moon also is squaring our nose. Now, this is our destiny. This is our purpose. And we have some blockage here. There is a change and we don't like it. There's something okay. So the nodes represent our collective, our personal karmic paths. The North Node is where we're heading. The South Node is what we're leaving behind, or what we're comfortable with. We're familiar with this. And now there's tension here. There's tension. There's a crisis of choice here. This is at a T-square here. It is like the emotions are causing problems not to release and not to move forward, okay? The collective push and towards spirituality, towards compassion, towards this is spirituality and compassion, oneness, flowing, your intuition. There are some challenges here against the rigidness, against the routines, against the overthinking, against the being too critical. Why is my notes not working? Okay. There's some friction there. Sagittarius wants to explore. Virgo wants to check every details. And Pisces is in la la land. And Sagittarius is like, what is the truth? I need the emotional truth. There's going to be a conflict here, and you need to integrate the three things, and maybe have the emotions be the focus point, because the emotions is the focus point of this T-square. Okay. So are you too caught in the detail of what you are seeing? Why is this thing not working? Why are my notes? Are you too caught in the details to see the bigger picture? Are you escaping through fantasy instead of acting on your dreams? What are you ready to release in the past with this full moon and take a leap into the unknown? I trust the journey of growth, because Sagittarius wants to grow. Pisces is down for some growth. Virgo is like, we like the routine. Okay, so be aware of that. Also, to this full moon, which I don't have on this chart, because my chart, this program does not have it, but there's a fixed star sitting next to this full moon, and it's called Astria. Okay, Astria for a fixed star, and it is, while not as widely known in traditional astrology, energy is associated with quiet depth, wisdom, and a deep sense of direction. It's about just, it's about truthful, it's about which Sagittarius is already very honest and truthful, righteousness, benevolent, interest in Freemasonry, and architect. This is a very positive fixed star. It's also dealing with Mercury and Jupiter. So everything that I mentioned earlier, but just add on the strong sense of honesty. So I think there is going to be a real huge honesty element added to this full moon of emotions. However, you got to take that rose colored lens off so you can see the realness, the truth. And it's going to be very positive for us releasing and forgiving and dealing with this over emotional aspect. Well, it's not over. It could be a okay. We're all different, but there's emotions involved in here. Okay. How does this shape this full moon spiritually? There's some depth, some clarity. It's urging to listen to the quiet whispers within, trusting the subtle signals, taking off the rose colored lens and seeing the truth. You don't need to shout your truth, just live it fully. Okay. Now, Austria, deeper meaning in how they shape this full moon is a lot of righteousness, seeking higher truths, what's right and just. A lot of justice, a lot of rightness, a lot of even could be dealing with law here for a lot of people, because that's what when you have justice, and Jupiter is already about justice. Now, if you're dealing with architect and Freemasonry, it could be building something strong, like a lasting structure. And this could be a mental structure, an emotional structure, a safety structure, or physically a home that makes you feel safe. There could be some type of clash here with that T square that we have here, and is dealing with some safety, and you need to have the honest, you need to be very blunt and honest with that. Okay, now let me see. Okay, also too, it's opposing another fixed star, and this fixed star is called Bellatrix. And Bellatrix is the Amazon star. Is the warrior energy, is very ambitious. It's about courage, it's unexpected battles, and the dangers of overreaching. It's sudden dishonor and accidents. Okay, so there could be an accident happening, and it's affecting your home, your mom, your past, your family, your emotions, the people. Yeah, and let me see what else. Also, too represents over talkative energy too. So a lot of talking added to this across the board. Ooh, it makes me think of podcasters and journalists, book writers. All that could be very affected with this full moon. Outspoken and blunt, amplified into gossip, oversharing, unfiltered honesty, can spill over to saying too much, too loudly, without care for others and feelings. So before, the fixed star that's sitting here is more inward speaking and communication. This one is opposing the outward, the ego, putting it on social media. And this is like something you should be dealing with, probably closed doors. Now, this fixed star also is dealing with accidents. So when you have accidents, just be, just release and let go and let God. You don't hold on too tight to whatever it is. You have to learn to be adaptable. You have to learn to be flexible, and you got to learn to be flexible when it comes to your emotions. Okay, watch for reckless behavior or impulsive travel plans too. Sudden dishonor. It's representing truths that aren't flattery, truths that are not here to help. They're just harsh things. Okay, be aware of that, because that could be causing some conflict with feminine and male energy. Okay, speak with integrity, not just volume. Pause before acting. Focus on building trust, not just being right. There is a huge aspect on communication with this full moon. So if we put it all together, it is about leaving behind what is safe but not stagnant with that south and north node. It's about freedom and uncertainty and new frontiers, because we want to obtain the things happening with our Pisces north node. Now, again, you have the energy of changing a perspective. So you have to change the perspective. You can't look at things through a rose colored lens. Okay, make sure you're not falling under the fraud. It's also about healing, because you are dealing with that Chiron and Aries, and there's also courageous energy, and it's very positive. So there is healing, and there's action and energy involved with your emotions and your ego. So that's very positive. There is a balance for you to see things clearly and speak your truth, more internal, not external, and watch what you say. Okay, now I pulled some cards for this full moon here, and then I'll quickly go over the horoscopes. But for the full moon, I have the 10 of cups here, and the 10 of cups is emotional fulfillment, family, and harmony. It represents the home here, you guys. There's deep contentment and recognizing that what really matters to the soul, especially when it comes to that Jupiter at 0 degrees in Cancer, is all about the safety in the home and positive with home. And when you're talking about the connection of that Sabian symbol of looking at things through a rose-colored lens, or having emotional fulfillment and really changing the perspective of how you see your family and how you see the safety, that might be very important. And really releasing and forgiving some family members and your mom or people from your past. Okay. I also pulled the devil card. Dun, 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 okay. The devil card at the same time is challenging you breaking free from any addictions, any toxic energy, any fears, any attachment, because remember that Sagittarius wants some freedom and doesn't want to be held back. And this is someone who has temptation, addiction, illusions. Also, too, remember that Bellatrix is sitting there, and the Bellatrix is having some dangers and being very impulsive. And I was not a positive fixed star. So it's like that ego of communication has some toxic gossip energy, and you don't want to be a part of that. This is sudden dishonor or accidents or being overconfident or having excess of too much. Sagittarius likes to do a little bit too much, okay? So I feel like it's the talking too much, and that needs to be calmed down. The shadow side of that is illusion attachment based on being stuck. The devil card can represent where you feel trapped, where you feel, because it is dealing with chains. And look, it's like, come on, come to the dark side. I feel like the card is saying that. And you want to take those rose color lens off, and you want to really see the truth. You need to probably talk to someone who you can trust, who has the intuition, if you are lost in the sauce, who can be very honest, because that honesty is a part of it, in a loving and compassionate way, and can help you see like, that's negative and that's toxic, sweetie. You can't be toxic. Okay. Also, too, we have the Judgment card. This one is very great. Even looking at it, just without even knowing tarot, you can just see through the pictures here. This is a ultimate wake up call, right? This is a rise up. This is a what is your true calling? Forgive yourself. Step into a new chapter with that Jupiter entering 0 degrees. Okay. This is a time to release the past, embrace your truth, and move forward with courage. Now we have the Astro fixed star. This is connected to this full moon. And with this fixed star, this is also saying be honest, go to your righteous place. And then two, also you have the Scorpio degree. You have the 20 degrees in Scorpio, and this is also representing Pluto as well. So a transformation. What are the secrets? What is the jealousy? Oh yeah, the secrets, the jealousy here. Also to intimacy here could be dealing with this, but also to like a rebirth, a birth of something. Pregnancy, it could be a rebirth or a birth of you. Okay, this card is an awakening card. It's saying rise up, release old patterns, embrace new clarity, use your discernment and see beyond your own limitations, because that fire sign likes to explore. Okay, and don't just be stuck in the scrutiny of things. Don't be stuck in the imprisonment of things. Don't put yourself in your own box. It asks you to look at your life through new lenses and see both the gifts and the illusions. Full moons are at the same time a culmination. It's about clarity. It's about releasing. It's about forgiving. And this card just sums all that up. Okay. So yeah, that's what we have for the full moon. I release what binds me. I choose love and courage. I trust the journey ahead. Now let's get into the horoscopes real quick. Okay. So the first horoscope we have here is Aries. This is in your 9th house. This full moon is going to have an awakening on your education, your higher learning, traveling. Okay. It's going to really move forward to expanding some things. Can I do? Okay. I'm going to pull a card for you, Aries. Hold on, let me pull a card for Aries, Taurus, and Gemini. Okay. Aries, for you, we have the Hierophant. So there is change, there is conflict, okay, for you emotionally. However, this is the energy of you sticking to your traditions and what you truly value. Now, for us, Taurus, also to seeking higher wisdom. Now, Taurus is in your 8th house. This is all about financial investment. It could be dealing with some money here or being honest about the things that are in the dark. We have the 3 of Swords. There is something from your past that you are not releasing and you're not addressing, and it is breaking your heart. Now, Gemini, we have the 7th house, and this is dealing with your relationships. And I put the Judgment card for you. Again, the Judgment card is about renewal, reawakening. There is going to be maybe a rebirth or a transformation happening in your relationships. Also, the Queen of Swords, there is someone who's going to be very compassionate. It could be you, and there's going to be some truth, some honest discussions. Okay. Now, far as why is it not showing? Is it showing? Oh, it's showing there, but it's not showing. Far as where am I? Oh, here we go. I can't see the little font on the screen. So far as my cancers, this is a full moon is happening in your sixth house. This is about health. This is about your coworkers. This is about your daily routines, your mental health, organizing, or maybe even some pets. And we have the Ace of Pentacles for you. God is going to give you some new opportunities when it comes to your finances or your health, or maybe even with your career. Okay. Use the opportunity. You won't miss it, but you need to have some honest conversations about it. Okay. Leo's fifth house. This is all about the house of fun. Okay. And romance and really self expression. And I pulled the 9 of Wands. And this is someone who has to persevere and stay true to themselves and stay true to you. What you believe, or you really having fun as a child, like going back to your childhood funness and really expressing that, or even something with your children and you staying firm with your children. Okay. Now Virgos, this is in your fourth house. This is a very sensitive placement, first of all, and it's about your home, your past, your security, your security, your mom, your ancestry. We have the 5 of Swords. The 5 of Swords means that there is going to be a change or a challenge. People are going to conflict you when it comes to your emotions, but that's okay. You got to stay strong. Remember that Sagittarius energy wants to stay strong. There's going to be some strong conversations that are being had. Okay, now far as my Libras, this is in your third house. This is a house of communication. So this full moon is going to bring something communicative to you. We have the Star card. The Star card makes me think of technology. It makes me think of AI. So maybe like AI is going to tell you something, or maybe on someone on social media. This is also could be dealing with a group, someone in an organization, a network, someone who is dealing with the future or who's very out of the box is going to give you some information. Okay. And it's going to be involving healing and being honest. Okay. Now, Scorpios, this is in your second house of finances. And finances, there's going to be some stability. There's going to be celebration, maybe even like a graduation. As far as your finances here, that Sagittarius energy might be giving you some awareness of stability. Okay. Now for my Sagittarius, this is in your first house. This is I pulled the card of the High Priestess for you. Now the first house of emotions the High Priestess is going to give you awareness and your subconscious, and you being more tapped into that with that moon place there. Even using your intuition more than ever to be, it's like conversations with yourself, conversations with God, conversations with your divine power within. Okay. Now, lastly, we have my last group here, and let me pull it up in my notes. And lastly, we have Capricorns. Full moon is going to happen in your 12th house. It's a very emotional, spiritual, insecure, sensitive placement. And we have the 5 of Swords. The 5 of Swords for all of my Capricorns is saying that there's going to be some conflict when it comes to your thought process. And it could be regarding your money, your health, your finances, your job, your career, or you just even moving slow and being practical. You just being a Capricorn, your inner world is going to be illuminated, and you need to have some awareness. There's some conflict about really being yourself here. Okay. Aquarius, this is happening in your 12th house, and the 9 of Cups in reverse. This is releasing all that materialism. This is releasing the boastfulness of things. 11th house represents friends. It feels like there's something emotional that's going to be released. Maybe you're going to be releasing things in front of a bunch of friends or a group or a network. Let me know how that goes for you. Pisces, you have the Wheel of Fortune, and this is in your 10th house. The 10th house represents your career, and the Wheel of Fortune says there's going to be ups and downs. There's also karma and success and your true destiny. What you put out is what you receive. Okay. So during this full moon, what is your karma? Whatever the karma is what you're going to get. So if you've been putting some positive karma, then you shall receive positive karma. Okay. Yes, that's what we have for this full moon in Sagittarius. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time.
Bye bye.